I refused to eat from my colleague's vegan birthday cake. So, my coworker Emma was one of those super intense vegans who made it her entire personality. Every lunch break was a lecture about how we were all murderers for eating a turkey sandwich. She'd bring these weird quinoa salad things that smelled like feet and then act all superior when people avoided sitting near her. But the worst part was how she literally policed what everyone else ate. She once threw away my yogurt from the office fridge because dairy was contributing to animal suffering. When I confronted her about it, she just shrugged and said I should thank her for helping me make better choices. Anyway, last month was Emma's birthday, and she made this huge deal about bringing in a cruelty-free celebration cake for everyone. She spent like 30 minutes setting it up in the break room with these little tofu flowers on top, and everything. The whole office gathered around while she gave this speech about how food can bring people together without causing harm. The cake looked decent enough, but I have a severe nut allergy and Emma used almond flour. When I politely asked what was in it, she rolled her eyes and said it was just plants and that I was being dramatic. I explained about my allergy and she literally laughed and said allergies were probably psychosomatic reactions to guilt about eating unethical food. I told her I couldn't eat it and grabbed an apple from the vending machine instead. Emma's face went bright red and she started yelling about how I was disrespecting her and being deliberately difficult. She accused me of making excuses because I was too close-minded to try vegan food. The whole office was staring. I stayed calm and just said I valued my life more than her feelings about cake. That's when Emma completely lost it and screamed that I was a carnous bigot who was sabotaging her special day on purpose. Our manager Jake heard the commotion and came over. Emma immediately switched to victim mode, crying about how I was bullying her and making her feel unwelcome for her lifestyle choices. She demanded that Jake force me to eat the cake or write me up for creating a hostile work environment. Jake looked confused and asked what happened. I explained about the nut allergy, and Emma interrupted saying I was lying because I just wanted to eat murder food instead. She actually suggested that Jake search my desk for hidden animal products to prove I was being fake about the allergy. That's when Jake's expression changed. He asked Emma if she was seriously suggesting someone fake a potentially deadly medical condition. Emma doubled down and said most allergies weren't real anyway, and that I probably just needed to detox from animal products to cure myself. Jake sent everyone back to work and called Emma into his office. Through the glass walls, we could see her gesturing wildly, while Jake sat there looking more and more uncomfortable. 20 minutes later, Emma stormed out, grabbed her stuff and left. The next day, we found out Emma had been fired, not just for the cake thing, but because Jake looked into her other behavior after our conversation. Turns out she'd been throwing away people's lunches regularly, not just mine. She'd also been leaving graphic animal abuse pamphlets on people's desks, and had apparently told her pregnant coworker that eating meat while pregnant was child abuse. But wait, it gets worse. Emma's fiancé worked for our biggest client. When she got fired, she called him crying and told him our company was discriminating against vegans. She convinced him to file some kind of complaint, claiming we had an anti-vegan culture. Her fiancé brought this up during their next meeting with us, not knowing Emma had been fired for harassment, not her diet. When Jake explained what actually happened, the client was mortified. They ended up reconsidering their relationship with the fiancé's judgment, and he lost that job a week later. I wish I could say that was the end of it, but of course it wasn't. About 2 days after Emma got fired, HR called me into a meeting just to document the incident. They assured me I wasn't in trouble, but they needed an official statement in case Emma tried to escalate things legally. Apparently, she'd already emailed corporate accusing the company of endangering animals, silencing marginalized voices, and forcing violence-based diets on employees. I wish I was exaggerating. She actually attached links to vegan forums as evidence. I calmly walked HR through everything again. The lunch policing, the yogurt incident, the pamphlets, the comment about allergies being fake. When I mentioned the almond flour and my documented nut allergy, the HR rep physically winced. She asked if I had medical paperwork on file. I did. It had been in my employee records for years. That seemed to be the final nail in the coffin. For any argument Emma thought she had a few hours later, Jake stopped by my desk and apologized for not shutting Emma down sooner. He admitted that they'd brushed off complaints in the past because they didn't want to seem intolerant of her lifestyle. That word lifestyle made my eye twitch. Choosing to be vegan is a lifestyle. Endangering coworkers and harassing them daily is not. Jake said HR was updating company policy to make it crystal clear that personal beliefs don't override workplace safety or basic decency. Meanwhile, Emma absolutely spiraled online. She posted a multi-part Instagram story claiming she was terminated for compassion. She didn't name the company, but she tagged the city, used very specific descriptions, and framed herself as a whistleblower standing up to corporate me culture. She even posted a blurry photo of a birthday cake captioned, "This is what got me fired." No mention of the allergy. No mention of the screaming. No mention of demanding someone be forced to eat food they could literally die from. Some people bought it. A few vegan influencers reposted her story with captions like, "This is why we need protections." That part sucked. I won't lie. Seeing strangers call you a liar and a bigot based on half a story messes with your head. But then something unexpected happened. People from our office started commenting, not aggressively, just factually. One coworker wrote, "You threw my lunch away 3 times." Another said, "You told me I was abusing my unborn child." Someone else commented, "You said allergies weren't real." Slowly, the narrative cracked. Emma started deleting comments, but screenshots were already circulating. Then her ex-fiancé chimed in. Apparently, losing that client deal was the last straw for him. He commented that Emma had lied to him about why she was fired and that he personally apologized to our company for her behavior. He ended it with, "Please stop dragging innocent people into your mess." After that, her account went private. At work, things felt lighter. People joked about how quiet the break room was now. No more lectures. No more missing food. Someone even brought in donuts one morning and sarcastically labeled them 100% allergy approved. We laughed. But there was also this unspoken understanding that what happened wasn't funny, it was dangerous. A week later, HR sent out a company-wide email reminding everyone that medical conditions are not up for debate. No one is required to participate in food-related events, and harassment disguised as activism will not be tolerated. I printed that email and kept it in my desk drawer, just in case. The strangest part, Emma emailed me directly about a month later. No apology. Just a long message about how she hoped I'd educate myself, how I missed an opportunity to grow, and how one day I'd understand that she was only trying to help. I didn't reply. I didn't block her either. I just archived the email. I was done engaging. Her cake wasn't the problem. Her beliefs weren't even the problem. The problem was that she thought her ideology gave her the right to control, shame, and endanger other people. And I refuse to eat anything, cake or otherwise, that comes with that kind of entitlement baked into it. Story to my brother's wedding seemed perfect until my wife whispered, "We have to leave now." When I asked why, she said, "I'll explain in the car." In the silence of the drive home, she finally said, "You really didn't notice." The real purpose of that wedding was Chapter 1, the moment the music died. The wedding was flawless. White roses lined the aisle, string quartet in the corner. My brother Ethan stood at the altar looking nervous but happy, hands trembling as he waited for his bride to appear. Family and friends smiled, clinked glasses, posed for pictures. Even the air smelled like champagne and fresh linen. I was proud of him after everything we'd been through, the fallout from our parents' ugly divorce, the pressure of running the family business. He finally had something that was his, a moment of peace. My wife Hannah stood beside me in her navy blue dress, clutching my hand tighter than usual. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I chalked it up to wedding fatigue. She was never one for big events. But then, right as the officiant began speaking, she leaned in and whispered, "We have to leave now." I turned to her, startled. "What? Are you okay?" She didn't meet my eyes. "I'll explain in the car. Please don't make a scene." A strange chill crept down my back. Her grip on my wrist tightened. I glanced around. No one else seemed to notice anything off. My brother beamed. His bride smiled demurely. I stood, muttered an apology, and quietly followed Hannah out the side door. The car ride was silent. Hannah stared straight ahead, her jaw clenched. I could hear her heart pounding. Or maybe it was mine. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Finally, as the city lights flickered past us and the reception faded into memory behind us, I broke the silence. "Hannah, what the hell is going on?" She didn't answer right away. Then she exhaled slow, broken. "You really didn't notice?" "Notice what?" She shook her head. "Of course you didn't. You trust him. You always trusted him." A sharp pit bloomed in my stomach. "Hannah," I said this time more firmly, "what are you trying to tell me?" She finally looked at me, and her eyes were wet with guilt. The wedding wasn't just a wedding. It was a goodbye. My pulse quickened. To what? She closed her eyes. To us. To everything you believed was real. And that's when the truth started unraveling. Chapter 2, the confession that changed everything. Hannah's voice was barely above a whisper. "I've been sleeping with Ethan." The words crashed through the silence like glass shattering on tile. I blinked once, twice, waiting for some kind of punchline, some sign that she was joking. But she just looked at me, pale, trembling, ashamed. I laughed. A cold, hollow sound. "What?" She turned away, eyes fixed on the passing traffic. "I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to ruin everything. But when I saw her walking down the aisle today, she choked on her words. I realized I was just one of many. One of her warm-up acts. I stared at her, heart pounding. What do you mean her? Hannah met my gaze, her voice shaking now. Your brother didn't just cheat on his bride. He used the whole engagement to clean up a trail of affairs, including me. And I let it happen because I thought it meant something. I meant something. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. So, let me get this straight. I said slowly. You were cheating on me with my brother. And now you're upset because he didn't choose you. I'm not asking for forgiveness, she said quietly. I'm trying to warn you, warn me. Hannah reached into her purse and pulled out a small envelope. Inside were photos, time-stamped, intimate. Ethan with other women, different cities, different faces. But all within the last 6 months. One was even dated to nights before the wedding. There's more, she said. I think the whole marriage is a setup. He didn't marry her out of love. I stared at the images, my stomach twisting. Hannah added he said something once late at night. He joked that she was connected. Like marrying her would help him unlock something big. He called it his golden key. Suddenly, I remembered something. Last year, Ethan's business was in trouble. Major debt. Then overnight, it bounced back. He told me it was from smart investing. But I'd seen no record of that. And now it made sense. This wasn't just betrayal, this was calculated. A marriage not built on love, but on greed. And now my wife was caught in the fallout. I pulled over to the side of the road, letting the weight of it all sink in. My brother had betrayed me. My wife had betrayed me. And together, they thought I'd just stay broken. But I wasn't going to rage. I wasn't going to scream. I was going to destroy everything they built quietly, precisely, and completely. Chapter 3, The Setup. The days that followed felt like walking on scorched earth, every step forward revealing just how far the betrayal had spread. But I wasn't going to act out of anger. That's what they would expect. Instead, I began laying the groundwork for something far more powerful than rage. I wanted justice, and I wanted it to be irreversible. Step 1, Information Warfare. I started with what I already had, the photos Hannah had given me. But I wasn't about to rely solely on the word of a woman who had betrayed me. I needed proof that couldn't be dismissed or denied. So, I reached out to a former college friend, James. He ran a cybersecurity firm and owed me a favor from years ago. Within a week, he helped me pull metadata from Ethan's social media accounts, track down burner emails, and even uncovered a hidden messaging app on a spare business phone Ethan had tossed years ago and never properly wiped. What we found confirmed everything: dozens of hotel bookings under fake names, cash wire transfers from Ethan to at least 4 other women, a trail of online conversations dating back almost 2 years with women who clearly didn't know each other existed. The piece to resistance: one message to a friend. Marrying Alyssa is the smartest financial decision I've ever made. Her dad basically signs blank checks. I just have to keep my halo on for a while. That halo was about to be set on fire. Step 2, The Power Behind the Bride. Alyssa, Ethan's new bride, wasn't just anyone. Her father, Gerald Langdon, was a tech titan who funded startups and owned half the city's real estate. The man was known for loyalty and ruthlessness in equal measure, and he adored his daughter. So I arranged a meeting. It wasn't easy, but with help from James and a carefully crafted email titled Your Son-in-Law's Secret Life, I got a 15-minute window at Gerald's private office. I came prepared. Photos, messages, financial trails, everything laid out in a black binder. Page after devastating page. Gerald sat in silence, his jaw tightening with every turn. When I finally finished, he didn't speak. He just stood, walked to the window, and said, "You did the right thing coming to me. Leave this with me. I'll handle my end." It wasn't a threat. It was a death sentence for Ethan's golden key. Step 3, My Wife's Undoing. As much as Hannah had confessed, she wasn't innocent. But she had unknowingly handed me something critical. Her access. She still had access to Ethan's inner circle. There were mails, the group chats, the private gossip they thought I'd never see. And she felt guilty. So I asked for one last favor. Tell me everything you know. Names, places, timelines. If you really want to make this right, help me burn them all down. She agreed. And with that, I started building the drop, a digital folder of evidence, testimonials, screenshots, and compiled communications from Ethan's network. Every lie, every deception, all time-stamped, cross-verified, and ready to explode. By the end of the week, I had enough ammunition to ruin 2 marriages, a business empire, and every fake friend who had laughed behind my back. But I wasn't done yet. I had something even bigger in mind. A public event, a scene no one would ever forget. And Ethan had already unknowingly invited me to it. His post-wedding business gala, a celebration of the new partnership between his startup and Gerald Langdon's conglomerate. The night would be perfect because that's when everything would come crashing down. Chapter 4. The Gala Bombshell. The grand ballroom of the Langdon Plaza Hotel glowed with chandeliers and luxury. Men in tailored suits and women in flowing gowns mingled under the glitter of success. The gala was meant to celebrate the merger between Ethan's tech company and Gerald Langdon's empire. A night to honor vision, trust, and family. The irony wasn't lost on me. Ethan stood on stage, arm wrapped around Alyssa, smiling like he'd won the lottery. Which in a way he had. Marrying the daughter of a billionaire was his ultimate con. The cameras loved him. The guests applauded. But they hadn't seen what I was about to show them. 10:14 p.m. showtime. I waited until dessert was being served. The crowd had settled into their chairs, half listening to Gerald give his speech about innovation and integrity. That's when I made my move. I signaled the event tech manager, someone I'd paid generously, to grant me 1 minute of access to the main projector. 1 minute was all I needed. The lights dimmed, the screen lit up, and the first thing that appeared was a photo. Ethan and one of his side women, half-dressed, kissing in a hotel hallway. Murmurs rippled through the room, chairs shifted. Gerald stopped mid-sentence, slowly turning toward the screen, his face already turning pale. Then came a time-stamped list of Ethan's hotel visits, then screenshots of messages. "You're way better in bed than Alyssa. She's so dull. This deal's almost closed. After that, I'm set for life." The final image. Ethan's message to a friend. "Marrying Alyssa is like winning the financial Olympics." Gasps, a few stifled cries. One of Alyssa's cousins stood and yelled, "Is this some kind of joke?" It wasn't, and the best part, I wasn't even in the room. The fallout I watched from across the street, standing in a quiet hotel bar with a view of the ballroom through floor-to-ceiling windows. I saw the chaos unfold like a silent movie. Gerald dropped the microphone. Alyssa shoved Ethan away so hard he fell into the dessert table. Security moved in, not for me, but to escort Ethan out. Within 12 hours, the deal was cancelled. Gerald severed all ties. Alyssa filed for an annulment, citing fraud. Ethan's company stock crashed overnight due to rumors of scandal and fraud leaking to the press. I'd made sure the right blogs had everything. Several of his business partners backed out after reading through the Dropbox I'd sent earlier that morning. As for Hannah, I didn't forgive her, but I didn't destroy her either. She lost my trust, but she helped dismantle Ethan's illusion, and that counted for something. 1 week later, I received a plain white envelope at my office. No name, just an embossed family crest. Inside, a handwritten note from Gerald Langdon. "You exposed what I refused to see. You have my respect and my thanks. If you ever want to discuss the future, my door's open." I smiled. Not because I needed a favor, but because Ethan had finally lost the one thing he valued most. Control. Chapter 5, Closure. It's been 11 months since that night at the Langdon Gala. In that time, the world changed for everyone involved, but especially for me. After everything fell apart for Ethan, he tried to bounce back. He launched a startup with borrowed capital. But investors pulled out when the full scandal hit the press. No one wanted to associate with a manipulator who weaponized marriage for money. The last I heard, he was living in a cramped apartment in a low-rent neighborhood, dodging lawsuits from disgruntled shareholders and begging mutual friends for a second chance. Most never replied. Alyssa went radio silent. I respected that. She didn't deserve the humiliation, but she wasn't blameless either. I heard she moved to Europe to start over, and I hope she found peace. As for Hannah, she wrote me a long email a few months ago. It wasn't an apology, not really, more like a confession. She talked about how Ethan manipulated her, too. How he made her feel special and seen during a time when our marriage was coasting on autopilot. I didn't excuse her, but I forgave her. Not for her, but for me. Now, I live in a quiet lakeside cabin 2 hours outside the city. I work remotely, consulting, advising, and sometimes just reading novels on the porch with a cup of black coffee and the sunrise for company. There's no noise here, no pretending, no betrayal, just quiet. A while ago, I met someone new. Not flashy, not dramatic, she's kind, grounded, and thoughtful. Someone who asks about my day and actually listens. We take things slow. And the other day, she looked at me while we were walking in the woods and said, "You seem like someone who's been through hell, but made it out stronger." I smiled and told her the truth. I had to lose everything fake so I could finally build something real. Epilogue, the real revenge. The greatest revenge isn't a scandal. It's not a public collapse or a ruined deal or a shattered reputation. Those things are satisfying, but they're just echoes. The real revenge is becoming untouchable. It's living a life so authentic, so calm, so far from the games they play that they no longer have the power to matter. Because in the end, you don't need to destroy them. You just need to walk away so completely. They destroy themselves trying to follow. Was this revenge perfectly justified?